UFC 310 concluded last night, and in today's video I'm going to be breaking down and giving my opinion on who my favourite fighters on the card should be fighting in their next fights, and roughly a time frame of when they should be returning to the cage, judging by how much damage they took, what matchups I want to see next, some fun fights, and just how I think they should manage their careers. So if you want to hire me UFC fighters, please let me know, comment on this video, don't forget to like and subscribe guys. Let's get straight into this little breakdown. Now, a fight I was extremely excited for was Chase Hooper versus Clay Guida, the second fight of the night, which was very nice, just sitting around chilling out. I was having a cup of coffee for my night of fights ahead, and I thought, oh, let's pop it on. I can't wait to see Chase Hooper and how he looks. He looked snappy, he looked so sharp, he looked phenomenal, but whoop, slip out. His grappling is always elite level. Jiu-jitsu wise, and he's only 25, getting bigger, stronger, better. He's now 15-3, 14-3. Let me just double check. He's now 15-3 in his professional record. And there was talks of him versus Jim Miller next at lightweight, and I think that could be really fun. However, if you're wanting to get him in the rankings, a step up in competition, maybe get back in there April, May, June time on a pay-per-view main card opener, I think that would be perfect for Chase Hooper. I want to see Chase the Dream Hooper versus Bobby King Green. Obviously, Bobby Green was Paddy Pimblett's entryway into the rankings, and why not? He's on the end of his career. He's still a very dangerous fighter. Give Bobby Green Chase Hooper. That's a really difficult test for Chase Hooper, especially on the feet. He doesn't have the stature and the strength Paddy Pimblett has. However, that's what the UFC is all about. Get him in there. Top 15 fight. Fight for number 15 in the world. Chase the Dream Hooper versus Bobby Green. I would probably say Chase Hooper gets it done by decision. You know, Bobby Green would probably have a lot of success on the feet, but he sits back and waits for you. And all Chase Hooper needs is one scramble, one entry, one something to completely mediate the distance and get Bobby Green to the cage. That's all he needs. Chase the Dream Hooper versus Bobby Green is the fight to make at lightweight. I'm going to completely ignore Michael Chiesa, Cody Duran, Joshua Van, and definitely going to ignore the Chris Weidman and Eric Anders fight. I think these fights are completely irrelevant. I could not really care less who they fight next. Joshua Van's a really fun guy to watch fight at flyweight. However, I'm done with flyweight. They probably will give him someone in the top 5, and I'm really not bothered. Moving up the card, obviously we had Movsar Evloev fight Aljamain Sterling, and we're going to be breaking this one down. Now, I'm not going to tell you who I want Aljamain Sterling to fight until a little bit later in the video. You guys will see why in just a second. However, who's next for who's next for Evloev? Now, this one is a title eliminator bout, I'm going to say, after obviously Volkanov's getting Topuria fights again. Obviously, Diego Lopez will always be in the mix. However, I know what Evloev's like. He'll probably wait a good few months before coming back, and I want to see him return against either Josh Emmett. Josh Emmett's my front runner. However, I have a sneaky feeling that if Volk and Topuria are going to fight again, Emmett and Lopez are going to get matched up. However, I would like to see Evloev versus either. I mean, I know what the UFC are like. They'll want him to fight someone else before he gets the Topuria shot, because featherweight is a logjam for a title shot at the moment. Movsar Evloev versus Josh Emmett is what I want to see. Or you can do Evloev maybe versus a Calvin Kattar. Just something to keep him busy in the meantime. And I think they could do that. Look, Evloev, we don't have anyone for you at the top. If you want to stay active, here's Calvin Kattar. Here's someone who we don't really care about anymore. Or they do Arnold Allen again. A little rematch between Arnold Allen and Evloev. That's an option as well. Arnold Allen arguably won that fight. You know, Evloev, I think, had 4 split decisions and another 4 really close fights, and then only one unanimous, or some weird stat like that. However, he's not ready for Topuria yet. Also, I don't want to risk him beating Topuria just yet. I want a few more fun, entertaining title fights before the UFC is completely taken over. Moving up the card, Vicente Luque obviously knocked down and Darce choked Thumba Gumbo. I won a lot of money on this. I put a tenner on him to win, and I got a bit of money back, so I was very happy. I really would like to see Vicente Luque come in and fight Geoff Neal again. I think that would be just a fun one to run back. Get Vicente Luque right back in the mix against Geoff Neal. They're both coming off losses. Just do that one again. That's a good fun fight. Or there's always this option. Vicente Luque versus the loser of Joaquin Buckley and Colby Covington. Or there's also another matchup which you could do for Vicente Luque, and that is Jorge Masvidal. When Masvidal's return fight, if he's not coming back to fight someone like Leon Edwards, get him back fighting Vicente Luque. And yeah, there's a few fights there you could do with him. I'm not too bothered. I'm not going to give you one massive breakdown, just due to the fact that everyone loves Vicente Luque, and we're just lucky to have him still fighting and competing and winning now back in the UFC in the top 15. Dominic Reyes beat Anthony Smith. Anthony Smith is one of the worst fighters I've ever seen in my life. However, Dominic Reyes versus Alexander Rakic is what I want to see next. Rakic obviously coming off that loss to Ankalaev, and obviously if Reyes goes out there and beats him, he's right back at the top, right back in the mix. And then, or potentially Reyes versus Jan Blachowicz 2, the rematch, but obviously I'd be very wary. But also if you're Reyes, you're thinking, look, he's coming off a long layoff, a long time off, injuries. I'm on a bit of a streak now again. Good performances. I don't really care. I mean, I wasn't very impressed by Dominic Reyes regardless. The stoppage was a bit weak, and I think he gets really badly injured by Rakic and Jan. But I'm going to say Alexander Rakic versus Dominic Reyes. It's a fun fight at the top. Or you can do Dominic Reyes versus the man himself, Johnny Walker, if he wins his fight next month. Bryce Mitchell knocked out Kron Gracie after slamming him and then elbowing him in the face. Nice. And this is why I did not tell you who I wanted Aljamain Sterling to fight next, and it's because I want Bryce Mitchell versus Aljamain Sterling, fight night main event, sometime in the first quarter of next year. March, April, May, fight night main event, Sterling versus Mitchell. That's a great fun fight. Bryce Mitchell's offensive grappling's fantastic, and his defensive grappling, plus on the feet, that's a really fun fight. Mitchell has more power, Aljo's more dynamic. Bryce Mitchell versus Aljamain Sterling is the fight to make next, and I would love to see that fight. That's a fight night main event or a pay-per-view headline opener. Great fight. That's a fantastic fight. I would probably lean towards Bryce Mitchell, just more of like at this point in his career, not been through like the wear and tear that Aljamain has, and now he's back after that brutal knockout loss, back on his little streak, and as long as they're both healthy, I would love to see that fight. What's next for Cyril Gane after robbing Alexander Volkov of his victory? I think Volkov sits out, give him a title shot against Tom. Rematch against Tom. He gets it. Volkov sits out until June, July. End of the year, get your title shot. You're an older man. I want to see him fight for the belt at least once in his career. When it comes to Cyril Gane, I was thinking Derek Lewis, but then that might be a bit too low in the rankings for him, but technically he should be coming off a loss. If not Derek Lewis, I want to see Cyril Gane versus another top 5 contender in Curtis Blades. Curtis Blades is more fun to watch than Jailton Almeida, and I do not want Jailton Almeida getting anywhere near the top. So Cyril Gane versus Curtis Blades is the fight to make next, and I would pay very good money to see that one. And I think Curtis Blades gets it done. However, Cyril Gane's grappling did look refined and improved. However, he does make... I think Cyril Gane's athleticism allows him to get out of a lot of positions, definitely in training against maybe some fat people. However, here in the UFC, I do notice things and I'm like, your hand shouldn't be there, brother. Moving on to my favourite fight of the night, and the fight everyone I think was more excited for. Ian Machado Garry versus Shavkat Rakhmonov. These are the two fights I think they should have next. For Shavkat, he's fighting Bilal. Now, I want that fight to be done in April or May. Get it out the way. Get it out of our system. That's all I want to say about that. We need a new top dog. We need to figure out who the champion is, so the rest of the division can play out towards the end of 2025. Realistically, Ian Garry loves to be active, and I want to see him in there in March in London against Leon Edwards. Somewhat of a title eliminator bout. I know if Ian Garry wins, he'll probably fight again, maybe on the same card as Shavkat, and no, definitely not, because that'll be in March or April. Ian Garry would probably fight again after beating Leon Edwards to reassert himself, to keep growing, to keep having fights, to keep getting paid. Whereas Leon Edwards would probably win and sit out and wait for the shot. You know, I would love to see if Jack Della Maddalena and Usman fight. I would love to see the winner of that fight the winner of Leon Edwards and Ian Garry, if that happens in March. But please inject that into my veins. That's the fight that needs to happen. If Ian Garry's not injured, take the rest of December off, get straight back into camp early January out in Brazil. I would fucking love to see him back. I would literally kill for that matchup. Inject that into my veins. Thank you. The main event, Alejandro Pantoja versus Kai Asakura. I'm gutted, man. I mean, realistically, Kai Kara France is who you do for Pantoja next, which is so boring, and it's so... The flyweight division's dead. Demetrius Johnson's responded. He's not coming out of retirement, and I did a breakdown on TikTok about that whole situation. I don't want it to happen regardless. However, it would be quite fun, I'd imagine, but no, that's not gonna happen. For Kai Asakura, get yourself up to bantamweight and fight Davison Figueiredo. Timing wise, it works out perfectly. It's such a fun matchup. You're putting yourself right in the top 5 of a division again. Davison Figueiredo versus Asakura. Get yourself out the flyweight division. That's a dying division. You're a fun fighter to watch. Get yourself up to bantamweight where all the fun fights are. And for Pantoja, retire, please. I really am disliking the flyweight division, and you know what would be perfect right now? Manel Kape coming off of a win. Manel Kape would be perfect for Pantoja, or Muhammad Mukayev if he was still in the UFC. Just some fresh blood, and this is not exciting fights. I'm not looking for exciting fights for Pantoja. I'm just looking for a fight. Kai Kara France or Manel Kape, someone like that, please. Would be good. However, folks, I hope you have enjoyed my next fight to make video, the prediction and breakdowns that I do after every UFC pay-per-view. I'm trying something new here on the channel, trying to make bigger and better fights for yourselves, and here we go. Thank you for watching. Please subscribe, like, and comment on the video. Give me your thoughts on the fights that I made, and also stay tuned for something big coming, guys. I'm going to make a video about it, an announcement soon, but stay tuned for something very big coming, and I will love you and leave you. Don't forget to subscribe, and for daily and weekly mixed martial arts content.